Hello everyone, my name is Karina and I'm very happy to be here today to share my experience working with Ukrainian youth in Finland about how they feel, what challenges they face and what helps them cope. My experience comes from two different areas. First, I worked at the Ukrainian Help Center where I met many young people who recently arrived in Finland. And second, I work at the Finnish Youth Research Society in Finnish Nuorisotutkimusseura, where we study how young people look for information and adapt to a new environment and culture. The last few years have been extremely difficult for Ukrainian youth. First, there was a pandemic, which itself brought isolation and stress. And then the war started. With it came fear, loss, and forced displacement. Many young Ukrainians had to leave their homes, families, and friends almost immediately. They found themselves in a new country, often alone, and had to start almost from scratch, new language, new rules, new life. In Finland, there are about 46,000 Ukrainians receiving temporary protection as of September 2024. And unfortunately, there is no more recent publicly available data and no exact information of the proportion of youth among them. Finland is very supportive, but adaptation is still emotionally challenging. Behind every polite smile, there is often a story full of stress, sadness, and worry for those left at home. And this is especially noticeable in youth. They experience several major stress factors at once: fear for their loved one, and loss of friend, loss of sense of stability, and the need to adapt and integrate into a new environment. A few words about Help Center. Help Center is a project of Ukrainian Association in Finland, established in March 2022, entirely on a volunteer basis. The center provides Ukrainian refugees with humanitarian, psychological, and informational support. It also offers a wide range of activities for different age groups. The center has only a few paid staff members, and all other operations are run by volunteers. At the center, my main work was in the registration area. So when visitors came, I checked their document, entered the information into database, and then compiled attendance statistics and in distributing humanitarian aid. Maybe it may seem like routine, but in reality, it gave me opportunity to see the emotional state of people. And what I can say, many came tired, and not only physically, but also psychologically. They had experienced long-term stress, moved between temporary housing, worried about their families, tried to understand Finnish system and plan their future. But there was also something inspiring. When people felt safe, even for a short time, they started communicate, smiling, and making contact. So the help center became not just a place to receive help, but also a place to rest and feel supported. The center also organized various activities for psychological comfort. For example, psychological games that helps discuss difficult topics in a safe environment, a yoga session which reduces physical tension, creative workshops, for example, painting, some handicrafts, and individual consultation with psychologists where youth, not only youth, could talk about personal experience. And all these activities were very popular. Young people needed a break from constant worry. They needed a place where they could just be, paint, move, or talk without judgment. And what helps the most is just a sense of community, that I'm not alone in this. Besides the Help Center, Ukrainian organization in Finland support youth through social and culture initiatives. For example, again, the Ukrainian Association in Finland regularly organize game evening for youth. They are not exactly about mental health, but they help a lot. Youth love, communicate, and play team game, which helps reduce tension and rebuild confidence. Through this meeting, they feel part of community, which is one of the key factors for mental well-being. These activities also introduce youth to the culture of another country and practical aspects of life in Finland, which helps them integrate with less stress. And to keep it brief, I suggest watching a video of the 1-year celebration of the board game evening for Ukrainian Youth Project to get a sense of the atmosphere. So how you can see, they are very happy. So second, my experience and notice with Finnish Youth Research Society was more research oriented. We conducted interviews to learn how Ukrainians, including youth, look for information and navigate a new country and language. And I want to say that the results were very positive. Young people showed a high level of adaptability and digital skills, and most of them speak English well enough for everyday life, and they skillfully use translators, apps, and AI tools to find answers, translate documents, and understand system. And they actively seek information about education, work, and culture opportunities. And in my opinion, this is very inspiring. Youth do not wait for someone to help. They find solutions themselves, and this active attitude greatly reduces stress and gives a sense of control over life. So about some mental health and coping strategies. The main challenges for Ukrainian youth in Finland is emotional exhaustion due to long-term stress and traumatic events, a worry for family and friends in Ukraine, loneliness due to loss of social networks, and language barriers which make communication and access to services difficult. But there are also resources that help. It's support from community and peers, creative and physical activities, digital skills for solving everyday and educational tasks, and motivation to build the future, study, work, and integrate. Additionally, I noticed that youth actively help each other. They create some informal support groups, share experience, and organize meetings, which improve emotional stability. About perspective on youth work in Finland, I want to say that Finland has a very developed youth support system, which opens great opportunities for work in this field. For example, some youth centers in Finnish nuorisotilat, informal space for learning, socializing, creativity, and leisure, and programs for psychological support, sports, and culture activities, and some integrational projects for migrants and refugees, some language programs, culture adaptation, and digital skills. And I think it would be very good if at least a part of these activities were held in use native language or, for example, simple English or simple Finnish to provide comfort and effective communication. Then such programs became an important resource for adaptation and psychological support. And some conclusion. Experience has shown that support for mental health must be comprehensive. So support is not limited to therapy. Places where youth can be themselves and feel part for a community are important. Peer support, youth trust each other more. This should be actively encouraged. Creative approaches, painting, music, movement, and games helps express emotions and reduce stress. Long-term integration involves mental health. Access to education, work, and culture opportunities provides emotional stability. So working with Ukrainian youth was maybe a little bit challenging for me, but inspiring. Despite all difficult, they shows strength, creativity, and hope. These young people are not only survive after the war, they want to live, create, and contribute to the society that welcomes them. And supporting their mental health is not just helping those affected, it is an investment in a generation that has already shows resilience and potential. Thank you for your attention.